Hello there everybody, this is Brandon, and we are back with another episode of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is part 20, and... oh, that's weird, I didn't... queered? Not queered. That's weird, I didn't even think about it. I just realized that we're on part 20, and this is the Fire Temple. I don't know why it's not a coincidence or anything, but... before we actually start this dungeon, let's take a little bit to listen to this music. Alright, so, sorry, that was a little bit longer than I intended it to be, but anyway, if you listen to the music there, it's kind of creepy, that it's, okay, here, let's go through this little cutscene first. Who's there? Is that you, Brandon? Oh, it really is Brandon. You've grown so big since I last saw you. I want to have a man-to-man talk with you, but now's not the time. Ganondorf is causing trouble on Death Mountain again. He has revived the evil ancient dragon Volvagia. Volvagia. I don't really know how you say it. I've always said Volvagia, just because that's what sounds right to me. But anyway, yeah, so he's talking about Volvagia, and he's trying to steal the evil dragon up. He's concerned, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have the legendary hammer, but I have no choice. Brandon, I'm asking you to do this as my sworn brother. While I'm trying to deal with the dragon, save the people, the prisoner sails are in the opposite direction. I'm counting on you, Brandon. So, anyway, yeah, so that's what our goal is in this dungeon, which is, I like the concept, but anyway, that the music of this dungeon is actually, was very controversial, and, was actually, one of the things that was changed in the game, and there's no need to talk to the Gorons. They all they just give you little hints and stuff, but yeah, it's not really useful. But the music itself was... yeah, you can't make that jump. Right? Yeah. Actually, let's just try it anyway. Yeah. Can't make it. Anyway, the music was a very controversial thing. Apparently in it's Muslim chanting. I think that's the right term. They're singing though, and the chanting that's going on is saying there's no god but Allah. Oh, I just realized I was going the completely wrong way anyway. But yeah, the chanting is saying that there's no god but Allah, and that's why it was so controversial. Not the chanting itself. At least that's from... I don't actually speak Arabic, I think. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong terms and everything, but I think that's what it's called. And it was so controversial because not of the chanting, but what was said in the chanting. For the people that spoke the same language and understood what they're saying, it was just a controversial thing, and that's why it was changed in later versions. But since I have I don't have the collector's edition, but I have the first version of the game, which is I think 0.01 or something like that, or 0.1, or 0.12, or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, that's one reason why it was so controversial, and yeah, so it made the dungeon very controversial, and you'll see later we'll be moving blocks around, and that was another thing that they changed, because there's the moon and star, which is the Muslim symbol, and so yeah, they changed all of that, and all of the other versions. So any version you play that's not the very first version will have a slightly different... it'll have a different soundtrack for the Fire Temple. and it'll have a slightly different soundtrack. It's actually like a remix of a later temple in the game. So that's one thing that they change, which is cool and all, I guess. But it made, yeah, it was a very controversial thing. If they would have kept it though, the game would have been made rated T, I think, or M. It would have been rated M with all the stuff that they left in, but it would have been T for other things. So I think we actually do need to go over here first, because like the forest temple, you have to get a couple of keys before you can really do anything, and you don't want to go through a dungeon lacking items and then have to come back. But yeah, this dungeon I think this dungeon can actually be beaten without the fire tunic. It's very difficult, and you have to you're on a very strict time restraint. If you're using your Kokiri or water or Zora fucking your Kokiri or Zora tunic. I don't know why that was so difficult for me, but yeah, it can be really difficult if you're gonna do it without the tunic. I've watched it, I think, be done. I know I have with the water temple, and I think it can be done with the forest temple or fire temple too. But I've never actually attempted it myself, just because I don't really care to. But yeah, this dungeon nonetheless is not one of my favorite dungeons. Especially when I was younger. It was just so creepy to me. I think you can actually... No, you can't hook shot into the chain link part, I think. But yeah, the dungeon's always been pretty creepy to me. It's been creepy, but it's always been one of my least favorites. Like, originally I liked it because I typically like the fire temples in Zelda. But I don't know, this was one of the dungeons I just never really cared for. I was actually stuck in it for a really long time when my very first time playing the game. Man, this music is kind of getting to me right now. It's creeping me out. Which is, I'm sorry if I offend anyone that has like a Muslim culture. I'm not trying to offend you with that. It's just chanting. And this guy we have to actually come back to later, so we can't actually do anything right now with him. But we will actually get back to him. Yeah, this dungeon's cool, but it's just not one that I really care too much for. Like, it has a pretty cool story, actually. Theorizing, I was doing a theory. I originally planned to actually have it out, but I haven't gotten around to it. I was gonna do a theory video on this dungeon, not this dungeon, sorry, but it has the dungeon in it. It was actually a theory video. Oh, here's the symbol I was talking about. They had to remove this in later versions. Hopefully when I edit this, I'll put a picture of what they changed it to. But yeah, they had to change that because it's controversial, and they didn't want to offend people. Oh. Aw, come on. So, anyway, with that, with my theory video, is about the Hyrulean Civil War. I always thought it was called Hylian Civil War, but it's actually the Hyrulean, which doesn't sound right, but it is. And I don't know why it's Hyrulean, not Hylian. But yeah, oh, okay, Indiana Jones here. There's just you can hear a weird sound there, and there's a sculpture behind this wall. But the sculptures are actually kind of sneaky in this dungeon. Like, I never really realized how sneaky they are. But oh crap, that kind of scared me. Oh, and then if those run into other rocks, you're kind of screwed. What's actually over here? Oh yeah, this is a key that we need to get. Don't forget about keys in this dungeon, because you might backtrack and you might mess up and have to look everywhere. But in my Hyrulean Civil War theory, there's been one done since I actually since I started mine. Mine was actually very different. It was really based around a different thing. I talked about other theories in it. I actually got as far as to actually like recording the theory video and doing stuff with it, and making. We don't. Oh wait, we do need to go here, I think. Actually, let's look around first before we do anything else. Just because I don't wanna backtrack. Oh wow. Yeah. I don't wanna have to backtrack and do all that again. Do not all this, but a lot of this again. Oh, see, there's one right here that I almost missed, and I'm glad I didn't. But in my video, I'm just gonna talk about it here because I have there's other places I'll probably mention the theory again, but I think 2's all we need here. Because if we go back that way, it just takes us back to life, back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Okay. Lag spike. Go away. Are you just gonna... Okay. But yeah, so the video, I spoke about... Okay. Okay, I think it's done. Oh my goodness, I really hate these boulders. Friggin' Boulder Dash. Yeah, I talked about a whole bunch of different things. But in general... Oh yeah, okay, so... Actually, over here, there's something that we can get. In the video, I talked about the war. And actually, at the Forest Temple, I'm trying to remember actually how my theory went. It wasn't the best. I'm going to talk about this other theory real quick. There's an interloper theory which spoke about like how the dark interlopers from Twilight Princess were related to Majora and blah blah blah. They're trying to get power and they took over the Sheikahs and like killed all of them and blah blah blah. I think it goes something like that. And then they're cast into like the Sacred Realm, Dark Realm. I don't remember which one it is, but something like that. But my theory, like, so what happened was, during the war, when everyone was like under attack, all the races of Hyrule were fighting and stuff. What happened was, while they're fighting, I think the Hylians, they were obviously the strongest power, but there's difficulties, and I related it to the World War II, which didn't make sense now, but everyone was after power, and they all wanted the Triforce for their own needs, which made them really selfish and all that stuff. This is just in case I fall down, because I don't want to have to climb back around and do that, which is not difficult, but it's just easier to do it this way. Before we do anything else, I need to play this. But everyone was fighting blah blah blah, so the Fire Temple was used to hold prisoners that they may need for later usage. And that's why I had that. But other areas, like the prisoners were held here, but then they would be killed at the bottom of the well or the Shadow Temple, which is a later part of the game, and I'll get to that. But that's what happened. They would be killed there. And where is this little guy? But they'd be held there for bad stuff. Is it not right here? Where is it? And then, yeah, they'd be murdered, and that's why the Redeads and stuff like that are the lost, like, souls. Pose are the lost souls of them and all that stuff. and those are people like restless people from being murdered for no reason. But that's really all my theory was. I didn't really have much else, like what ended up happening, what caused all this, why all this happened. I never really got that far into it, but actually now we only have one more sculpture to get, and it's going to be one of the last things we get in this. So basically we just have the dungeon to go from now on, and there's not a whole bunch left in this dungeon. Not really anything too difficult, but yeah. So I basically have what I was talking about out of the way. I don't really have too much to talk about. This dungeon most likely will be separated into 2 parts, just because it's not a lengthy dungeon by any means, but I don't want to have a super long, just long episodes, because people never end up finishing the episodes, it seems like. But, and if they do, then congrats, you're like one of the only people. Yes, Navi, I know, we'll come back to this, actually. But while we don't do that right now, I will continue to get creeped out by the music. In the other versions of this game, the music is a lot different, actually. It's a remix of the Shadow Temple, I believe, something like that. And wait, actually, let me make sure that isn't over there. Okay. But yeah, it's like a remix, I think, of the Shadow Temple. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me at all. Ever. Don't quote me unless it's about my life. Even then, I still wouldn't quote me, because I could be making it up or something weird like that. I like that those things give you magic, but I've never understood why they give you magic. Maybe it's because they think that you would use like a spin attack to kill them, which you don't really need to. I really don't use spin attacks that often, mostly because my controller is really bad. But other than that, I just don't use the spin attack just because I don't find it too useful, because you can do crouch stabs, you can use your shield, you can do all that stuff. Spin attacks are just, if you can get a quick spin attack, oh my goodness, Navi, yeah, I know there's a fucking hole here, you little twunt. Oh, and that is why I did this. Not that. Yep. I wanna return. I don't know why they give you the option to dispel. And then, usually I actually put it back down, just for future reference. Not really because it's needed. Mostly just because I don't want to worry. Oh, I thought that thing resealed. And look, you get magic pretty much unlimited in this. Or not. Where is this? This is behind me. Oh my goodness, Navi. Oh, is there a hole here? Is there something down here? That's the only thing I get really bothered by in this game. Oh, it's too late. That's really one thing I get bothered by, is when Navi just keeps going on and on. It's not like she's actually annoying otherwise, but like that she is. So let me think now. Where is it? Oh, okay, now I know. Yeah. Oh, here's a tip for rescuing me. Somewhere in this temple, you're sure to meet up with some creatures that dance as they attack. Arrows won't hurt them. Yeah, okay. I know what that means. Special crop. when they say Goron special crop, that's okay. That's what happens when you visit Goron. But I don't know what actually happens to him. Supposedly they return to the village, which they do. After this dungeon's over, you'll see Gorons go back to Goron Village, but the Gorons, it seems like, don't actually, like, they get out of there really quickly, but it seems like they could get killed just as easy trying to leave. So yeah, this dungeon is just one I've never really cared about, just because there's not really much, I don't know, Like, it's a cool dungeon. It's not a linear dungeon, but I actually like linear dungeons in Zelda. I like difficult bosses too, and they don't really seem to be. But maybe that's just because I play these Zelda games, like all the 3D ones, so much that like lots of it is just simple to me. But yeah, this is like the one room that is actually leads to a different room. It doesn't just go. So let me think. In this room, I know where I need to go. I think. I just have to remember how to get there.